Welcome in to My Two Bits. This is First Bites. We're going to look at the rapid reaction of our Florida Gators versus the Wildcats of Kentucky, who were plenty wild enough tonight. And clearly so wild, we had no way of containing them. I am your host, Mr. Randy, along with my other host, Ben. B, how you feeling? What's the good word? Are you still out there with your net? Are you still trying to chase the Wildcats? How you feeling?
There are no good words. There are only very, very bad words. Um, for those that don't know this about me, despite all the rivalry games that we have, there's only one game that I hate losing more than this one. When we do actually lose it, and we've lost it far too often lately, um, and that would be to the criminals. Um, that's the only one that bothers me more than this one when we lose it. This is a team we should never lose to. We are never less talented than this team ever, or at least not in any modern post World War II history. Maybe are we less talented than this team? And it is completely inexcusable for us to lose to them. I mean, we won what 30 something straight games against them or something like that. I don't know the exact number. Uh, it's ridiculous that we're losing to this team. It's completely unacceptable. It shows a complete lack of effort. It shows a complete give up by this team. We are so much more talented than this team. This was pathetic. I'm disgusted. I'm dejected. But I will say it does expose something that we've long talked about on this pod. And I think tonight it did also show its ugly head. Now, there were other factors involved, and yes, this team quit tonight. This team as a whole absolutely quit tonight. Not every player, but a lot of players, um, and that's truly sad and disappointing because that's not something we'd seen from this group. This group that quote had no quit. Well, they had quit tonight, um, but it also showed something else, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And I think that's something that we need to consider when we talk about where we go from here and why it's so important that we get this next hire right, because tonight showed so much of what was wrong with the previous hire from a schematic standpoint, um, and why so much was covered up by some of the things that were good about what was going on that we talked a lot about for a long time. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm disgusted. I'm dejected. I'm pissed off is what I am, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. So, how you feeling?
You are not alone. And for the record, yes, it was 31. That was the streak, 31 games from 87
There
to
you go.
2017.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kentucky, Bluegrass State, basketball school, Rupp Arena, Patino, Tubby Smith, Calipari. We get it. Football, yeah, no, shouldn't happen. Although it is a Bluegrass State, it's interesting they play on a turf field, but I digress. I digress. As we know
Yep.
here with First Bites, we're trying to keep it concise, nice and simple. So, like our regular show on Monday nights and our focus on factual analysis and all things Florida Gator football, we are going to make it as accurate as we possibly can, citing our sources whenever we use them. And tonight, all statistical data coming to you from, of course, the wonderful folks at ESPN. Um, Now, let's get into our opening point tonight, high level game summary. B, I know you got some a little bit of the venom out here earlier in your opening statements, but high level game summary, take it away.
Yeah. I mean, dominance. Though interesting. Not as much as you might think about. I mean, offensive numbers wise, it was pretty dominant, 401 to 247 in total yards. So that's pretty dominant and pretty gross. But not as dominant in some other areas. We talked about third downs being key, and we needed to beat them. We did not. They were 8 for 12. We were 7 for 15. So we were just under 50%, which is really good for us. But they were 75%, which is whoa. Yeah, not good. Um, 24 first downs for them, 17 for us. So I mean, not like some crazy discrepancy there, But just overall, I mean, obviously they beat us up and down the field like a drum, as you saw if you watched any or all of the game. It was not great. Penalties were pretty much the same. Turnovers actually were the same. Well, no, they were not. The ESPN has a stat wrong here. They have 3 fumbles lost for Kentucky, and that's not true. There were only 2, so it was actually 4-3 on that. But still, a lot of turnovers back and forth. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that ended up not being the difference. It really just came down to we couldn't get off the field. We could not stop their incredible offense that was averaging 22 points a game, and we gave up the most points that we've given up to any opponent this year. To Kentucky. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. One final key stat that I'll throw out there. They didn't punt. Not one time. No punts. None. That's insanity. I don't even remember the last time we played a team and they didn't punt against us. I'd say I didn't know what happened to the defense, but I actually do. We'll get into that breakdown on Monday. That's gross. That's gross. That's all I got. What's your key takeaways?
So from a high level standpoint, first of all, we never got off the bus. We never got off the plane. I guess the guys stayed in Gainesville. The guys stayed in their dorms. They're very comfortable, lavish, tricked out dorms, or they were in their very lavish football complex eating steak and shrimp and whatever the case might be. The sad part about this game for me was, I think you hit the nail on the head. I saw a team that looked like, for all intents and purposes, it quit. On the defensive side of the football, on the offensive side of the football, when it came to execution, when it came to blocking, when it came to so the first drive, DJ throws a pick. It's behind, tip, whatever. Okay, you go, all right, okay, fine, that happened.
Actually wasn't a bad ball, just a bad decision. But yeah.
Okay, the decision, right? So again, we've talked about this with DJ, and I've been very adamant with this about DJ. Is it between the ears? Is it the footwork? Is it the arm work? Is it over processing? What is it? What is it? We don't know. There could be 4 to 5 potential things, right? If you ask the cool kids nowadays, it's 6, 7, 6, 7. No, I'm gonna limit it to 4 and 5. But here's the thing.
I like it.
Yeah. Had to reference that. I think my son would appreciate it. But seriously, you look at that, and the way that this team hung their heads, and I'm going to clear this up for the record, because we had a great discussion about it earlier this week. I really do appreciate the question. I was asked the question, why do I have the feelings about DJ that I've expressed the past couple of pods? And as far as he's not the guy, he's not it. I've lost the luster, right? The spark, the light, all of it's gone. He looks dejected. His body language, his eyes tell a lot of the tale. And you know what? Whether it's between the ears, whether it is the mechanics, whether it is footwork, whether it is over processing, whatever it might be, the one thing I will say, the kid's in the desert. He's lost. Now, would it have helped to have Ryan O'Hara in his ear? We thought so. Ryan O'Hara is in his ear. Russ Callaway is to his side. Spurrier Jr. is on the sideline with him, and it doesn't make a doggone bit of difference.
Nope, sure didn't.
DJ's lost. This offensive line is lost. We have zero identity any way, shape, or form. And this is the first time tonight that I could say, especially the entire season, much less the past 4 years, that this team has really looked like it quit. Mm-hmm. So there's my high-level game summary. Let's move into key stats. I know, B, you mentioned you had a couple of call-outs, but key stats, What else you got?
Yeah. So I might jump the gun. I apologize on that. But yeah, the
You're
zero
good.
punts was definitely one for me on that. Third down conversion, as we talked about. I'll also bring up time of possession. Um, I think that was one that was big. They did beat us there, and that was something that we probably needed to win as well to do well in this game. It was actually closer than I would have thought it would have been.
Almost split.
But
Yeah.
that was, yeah, 31-38 to 28-27. So I think that was probably because of some of the stuff in the fourth quarter where we possessed it a little longer there,
Okay.
to get back a little bit because they dominated us in the second quarter, obviously. I saw a stat on the second quarter offensive numbers. It was like 154-40 or something like that. I'm ballparking that. Don't quote me on it. I'm just going from memory on what was on the TV screen. But it was ugly as far as that went. But I think just looking at it, I think the one that really stands out to me is really the zero punts. And then I also will go from the box score, from their rushing yards, even if you
Yeah.
take out the long run, right?
The 60
You know,
yarder. Yeah.
right. They're 5.3 yards per carry. And even if you take out the long run, but then also take out the QB sack yardage on Bo Allen, they're still something in the neighborhood of they're definitely north of 4 yards a carry, right? So, and we'll do the exact math on that for the pod on
Sure.
Monday. But I mean, just 233 yards rushing. Take out the 65 yarder, they're still at 160 and change. And this was a team that wasn't even averaging that, I don't believe. I believe their average was somewhere, it was maybe right around 160, but it wasn't 168. So we let them go over that when we're only allowing um like 120. I mean, and we wanted to keep it or pitch it, I believe, was we were going to keep them under our
Right.
yardage number for that. So like, I mean, just we needed to control them on the ground, and we did anything but. They were gashing us, especially on first down. Repeatedly on first down, they were getting 5, 6, 7 yards throughout the
Chunk
game.
yardage. Yeah.
Throughout the game, chunk yardage on first down. And that's why we couldn't get them off the field on third down. I don't have the average yardage on third down for them, but it can't have been more than 4 or 5 yards on third down for them to need to convert. And that's why they went 8 for 12, is because it was easy, right? It was simple pickups time and time again. So that was just killer. So if I pick one key stat, it's going to be their rushing yards, but really their rushing yards on first down when they ran the ball. That was just crushing, absolutely crushing, and really surprising. And that's where I think you saw the quit, honestly, that you were talking about.
Hmm.
Just not something we've seen from this team. They've been so good against the run, but that's where that effort comes in, right? And if you're not pushing, you're not driving, that's not going to happen even when you are superiorly talented, which we were, but it didn't show. And that's tough. So, what do you got for key stats?
Yeah, man. My key stats are as follows: Florida 247 total yards, Kentucky 401 total yards. I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing, great call out, 233 rushing to 104 rushing. Um, Sidebar: I really feel bad that Jaden Baugh is might not reach 1,000 yards this year, and
Yeah.
it's
Disappointing.
it's an absolute it's an absolute travesty that he's not going to have a honest shot at 1,000 yards. Sidebar over. Yeah, Florida 3 punts, Kentucky 0. It's so funny. We thought they're gonna punt it, and it's like, you know what? No. Mark Stoops looks over and goes, "Hey, kicker, take the night off. We got you. Okay, great. Rest your
Yep.
leg. We'll need you next week." Unreal, unreal. The fact that the Kentucky Wildcats, with a losing record, with one less win in the SEC that we have, absolutely, and I hate saying this, Lord help me, we got absolutely destroyed and humiliated.
Yep. Second worst loss to Kentucky in the history of this game, dating back to 1917, the first time we ever played them, where we lost 52-0. That's the worst loss ever in this game. This was the second worst ever. over 100 years ago is the last time we lost this badly to this team. That is vomit worthy. Not that it's not always vomit worthy to lose to this team, but that is just despicable.
I rest my case, Your Honor. All right. Impact play. B. What, if any, if one, what's your impact play? Do you have one?
Yeah, so I do, and it's going to be DJ's first pick. And I think the
Oh.
reason why is if we were going to have a chance to not quit in this game, we came out, we actually moved the ball pretty well to start, right? We had a
Mm-hmm.
decent first drive going, and then he throws the pick. And I think it was all downhill from there. I know we came back after the pick, after the field goal, and took the lead. I understand that, but I don't care because I think at that point, right out the gate, because then of course after that you had the fumble, right, and then it was just all downhill from there, right? Because obviously we didn't score again, but the I think what happened there is that the team just kind of went, oh man, here we go again, right? And that just kind of took the air out of it, right? I think if we could have come down first drive out the gate and scored, right, and kind of set a tone, I think maybe you get a different effort level from this team and they say, you know what? Screw this. We're going to take it to them. We're going to show them what we're going to do here, right? I think you had a chance for that to happen. I don't know. I'm not inside these guys' heads, right? We got guys opting out. Tank's red shirt and so he can transfer, right? I don't know if it's so he can transfer in fairness, but probably is now. And I don't know if I even blame him, to be honest with you, right? Like, I wouldn't want to play in this offense. That's, again, a point that I'll get to here. But ultimately, this is just what I see from this whole situation, right? Is that, it's just a here we go again thing, right? Here we go again. Another stupid turnover cost us when we could have had a chance to go score. We didn't. Now we got to go, try to stop them, and they prevented a touchdown, but it just wasn't obviously enough as time went on, and I think it was just the unraveling that play started. Now, listen, would this ultimately have happened anyway? Maybe, quite possibly. I don't know, right? I can't predict things like that, but ultimately, I think that spelled the beginning of the end for sure. So I'm going to call that the impact. Would it have ended up changing things? Who knows? Who knows? But that's where I'm going with it. What do you got?
Believe it or not, I've actually got the fumble. And so the reason
Mm-hmm.
why I will say the fumble is
I
because
can see that.
if you only because, and I'll outline it this way to make it clear and concise. Um, so the fumble happened, right? It was 6 plays. We went about 34 yards, was taking about 3 minutes off the clock. We should have gotten at least three there. Okay. So
Right. We
by the
should have at
time
least at least gone at least tied the game, right?
Right. So that happens, right? Watch this. Kentucky's next possession, we know touchdown. Our next possession, punt. Kentucky's next possession, touchdown. Our next possession, interception. Kentucky's fumble, interception, interception, end of half, all especially off that other
No, you
interception.
missed you missed one because they had another touchdown before the half. So there's another touchdown in there somewhere.
I apologize. Did I miss it? I'm sorry. Yeah, clearly they did. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, when you look at that progression of absolutely terrible offensive possessions,
Yeah.
definitely whether it's the first interception, the fumble, or the second interception, take your pick, pick your take. Um, that's just when everything. I like what you said. The unraveling began from that
Yeah.
point. So,
Yeah.
so we'll leave it there. Um,
Yeah.
all right, B. I believe we're on to player of the game. And please,
No,
it's got to be a Gator.
impact player. Impact player. Yes, we have to
Impact
pick a
player.
Gator. We have to pick a Gator. We don't want to pick a Gator, but we have to. But yes. Um I don't want to say that. I don't not want to pick a Gator. I shouldn't say that. But it's hard to pick a Gator. Can I say that? Can I say that? Um it was hard to pick a Gator. Not a lot of impact players for Florida in this game. I got to give it to Jaden Baugh, despite the lack of overall production that he was able to have in this game, despite the difficulty he had being immediately tackled in the backfield like 5 times, because as soon as he was handed the ball, he was engulfed because nobody decided to block for him at all in this game. He still managed a 3.8, almost 4 yards a carry, which is not at all terrible. It's not great, but it's not at all terrible. 17 carries for 64 yards, which is respectable, along of 13. But he also had 5 receptions for 27 yards, 5.4 per reception. And of course, the lone touchdown in the game. Thank you for keeping the no shutout streak alive. The fact that we're talking about that against Kentucky is insane. But thank you, Jaden, for keeping that alive. Really appreciate that. So he's the impact player of the game for me for that reason. Just shy of 100 yards of total offense on his own. Thank goodness for Jaden Baugh. Again, a couple nasty runs in here. 6 stiff arm on one, put a dude on his butt. Still love watching him run. If you give him even half a hole, he will make the other team just look silly. But several times tonight, we gave him nothing. I mean, less than nothing. And the kid can only do so much. I mean, my goodness. So yeah, Jaden Baugh for my impact player. Who you got?
Nice one, good impact. Yeah, like I said, I mentioned it earlier. I just think it's a travesty that he's not going to hit 1,000 yards again. If he goes
We don't
off
know that. Hey, we don't know
if he
that.
goes
We don't
off
know
these
that.
next 3 games, I really hope he does. I just would hate to have him miss it because of the lack of support that he's had,
Agreed.
especially the second half of the season. Anyways,
Agreed.
I will go with, although he had a poor first half, I will go with Sharif Denson. Led the
I like it.
team,
I like it.
11 tackles, 9 solo, 2 assisted, 1 pass deflection. So, Sharif in the second half, especially in that third quarter coming out, he saved, believe it or not, a lot of other plays from
He
happening,
did.
and he turned into an absolute tackling machine. I tried to find the breakdown. I couldn't find it because I was curious, first half to second half. But of those 11 tackles, I'm pretty sure at least 7 to 8 of them came in that second half, maybe in that third
Yep.
quarter. But either way,
Yep.
I digress. Sharif, and hey, that's the second in as many games, back to back games. We have 2 Gators with double digit tackles leading the way. Of course, last game we had Jordan Castell, Sharif Denson. They both had
Yep.
11, highest on the season. Kudos to them. Um, Outside of that, before we wrap up, you sign us off. B. Any closing thoughts from
Yeah.
us on being
So
unable to tame the Wildcats?
yeah, I do have some, and they have to do with Trammell coming in the second half. So, a lot of people were calling for this. They were saying, DJ is terrible and he sucks and he's awful and he's bringing the team down and it's his fault we're losing. And, there's been a lot of negativity around DJ since the Georgia game last week. Well, you got to see Trammell in the second half. How'd that look? Did it look a lot better? Did you see a lot, did you see the second coming? No, you did not. You did not. And now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think DJ's been playing some phenomenal football. No, he is not. He has absolutely been off. There's been stuff that's been wrong. There's been things that have not been good. No question about it. I'm not sitting here saying that I think DJ has been playing his best football. He has not been. No questions about it. Whether that's physical, mental, combination of both, I don't know. Certainly when the chips were down tonight, he got worse, and that's not a good sign. And I think it was the right thing to do to pull him. I'm not criticizing that. I'm not saying that was the wrong move. But what I thought you really got to see tonight, I've been posting this on social media quite a bit since that happened this evening, is that what we got to see tonight, and I'm actually glad we got to see it in a way, not glad of the result, but I'm glad we got to see it, is that what you got to see evidence this evening was this offense, this Napier offense, because I appreciate the wrinkles. I actually really like some of the things they've tried to throw in, some of the changes that they've made. This staff has tried. They've made an effort, and hats off to them for doing that. They threw a few more wrinkles in this week that I thought were good. Loved some of the things they did. Again, I'll get into that on Monday. But The base concepts of this offense are garbage. We've been saying it for 3.5 years. They are high school at best. They're probably more like junior high. And once you see them on film and you break them down on film and you understand how to cover them properly, it's very easy to take away the vast majority of what we're doing on a play by play basis. They're easy to identify, they're easy to pick out, and they're easy to cover because of this. And it doesn't matter who you put behind center. Give me Joe Montana. He's not going to be overly successful in this offense because it is trash. It always has been trash when it comes to the passing game anyway. The running game, it's decent. But when your passing game is trash, your running game can't be that good because you can't just run the ball all the time into loaded boxes. I don't care how good your running game is, loaded boxes will eventually stop that. And eventually you have to throw. And when they know you're going to throw, then they know what your concepts are or your lack thereof. And it's too easy to stop. And this has always been the fundamental problem. We've been saying it for years. We're not the only ones who've been saying it for years, for the record. It's not like we're alone. And that was the proof in the pudding tonight. Trammell made some nice throws out there. He made some nice throws. And then once they started realizing, okay, they're going to try to sling the rock around here and try to make an effort, they dropped into more safe coverages. And guess what? He had nowhere to throw the ball. He was forcing stuff into triple coverage, or he was getting sacked because there was nowhere to go, because these offensive concepts are elementary, literally. Like, that's what you play when you're in Pee Wee football. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It's ridiculous. And we have got to get a real offensive coach, not what we have now. And again, this is not a knock on the guys that are in there now trying to do something with it. I'm not dogging them. They're trying to do the best with the playbook that got left in their lap, right? The leftovers. They're doing the best they can with it. Maybe they could do a little more, but this week I actually thought was better than last week. And ultimately, it just is what it is. There's just not a lot of opportunities that are out there. Did we miss some open guys? Sure. It's going to happen every week. But ultimately, it's not like we have guys running wide open all over the field. We just don't. This is not Lane Kiffin's offense. This is not Lincoln Riley's offense. This is not an elite coordinator's offense running around out there. And that's what we need at the University of Florida. I'm not saying it has to be one of those two guys. I'd like it to be one of those two guys or any other very high-level offensive coordinator, because that's what we want here. That's what we want to see, and that's what we need to see moving forward. And I'll leave it at that. What do you got for closing thoughts, bud?
Tough to see what we just saw this evening. Tough to witness that.
Yeah, no
Every
kidding.
fiber of my being, we are fans. We love the game. We love the Gators. Fan is short for fanatic. I do believe we cross that line sometimes, but at the end of the day, it is was it, it's so painful to watch. I can't even put into words what it was like to watch that. I can't
Yeah.
tell you the last time. I know we talked about this, B, taking off an actual game. I can't tell you the last time I took off a Gator game, or much less, left the stadium. But I will say this: yeah, I came really daggum close tonight, really
Yeah.
close.
Close.
Um,
It's tough.
but knowing wanting to finish it through, have content for the pod, of course. I will say this: Brian O'Hara, play caller, because he's in DJ's Air, he's in film reviews and this. Folks, Ryan O'Hara came with Billy
That's
from
right.
Louisiana.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Russ Calloway did not. Russ Calloway had a couple different stints. We know at Samford, we know with the New York Giants, we know so on and so forth. But he is not. And also for the record, Russ Calloway has never been a play caller at any point in his
Right.
career.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You've got Spurrier Jr. Spurrier Jr. is the only one who really has any experience, oddly enough, as a play caller, not because of his father, but because he was an offensive coordinator at South Carolina.
Well, I mean, O'Hara
So
technically does, but it's like one season with an FBS team. But yeah, or FCS team, excuse me.
FCS, right? So
Yeah.
again, and I think that was a great point as far as the playbook is what the playbook is. And people would say, well, why don't we get different plays? Well, guess what? It kind of doesn't make sense to reinvent an offense with 4 or 5 games less in the season. You're going to
Yeah.
have to play it out. You're going to have to practice and figure out. Again, at this point, as elementary as it might be, my dear Ben, well, you just have to figure out what plays click. Do we have to go, hey, play one? Hey, play six. Do we have capacity for no more than 8 plays? I remember when my son first started playing football, we literally had 8 plays in the offense. It's play one. They had their nice little play calling, a little plastic, wrist protector, wristband. It was really cool. And I tell you what, if 8-year-olds can figure out 8 plays, I don't understand why 18, 19, 20-year-olds can't. But regardless of the fact, take your 8 best, vary them, change the way that we line up on the field. Now, this is what was interesting to me. Pre-snap movement. It's gone down a lot, right? We saw the statistic
Well, it went
during the
down a lot in the
game.
last game. It seemed like it went back up a hair to me tonight, but I don't have the numbers yet. So yeah,
Right. I'll be curious to see what it's like after this game. But
yeah.
if that's going to simplify things and DJ still looks lost, again, Trammell, I don't know. Trammell, SEC road game being down that much, I'm sure that had a little bit to do with it. I agree, had some great balls, but at the end of the day, clearly he's working with the same type of offense because whereas in the
Dudes
LIU
just weren't
game,
open. Dudes just weren't open.
yeah, in the LIU game, it looked like he had a few different things to work with, but in this game, everything looked just about the same as the first half. Again, he threw some great
Yep.
balls. I love the ball he threw on 4th down where he stepped up in
Yep.
the
It was a
pocket.
nice ball to start event. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and he had a couple of other balls the same way, but again, poor decision there on the pass out and triple coverage. Could have been picked. It wasn't. Poor decision on the sack. Thought he had more time. Of course, he didn't. So again, this offensive again, I'm going to go back to one thing that we mentioned before the beginning of the season. This offensive line has been absolutely uh, deplorable. There you go, deplorable. That's the word I'll use for it
It's a good word.
because especially tonight when it came to run blocking, there was
Run blocking. Yeah.
absolutely none. Absolutely
Yeah.
none. So
That was an effort thing tonight for sure.
it was. It's especially when I saw Josh Braun on the other side of the football there. Oh my gosh, that just peeved me off even more, knowing that he transferred. This is what his 4th team in 4 years, but regardless of the fact, I'm done. B. I'm done. Thanks for
All right.
the therapy session tonight. Go ahead and sign us
Yes,
off.
yes. Light therapy tonight. More therapy to come on Monday. We'll be a little later getting that online due to some travel from me, but we will be bringing that to you on Monday night. So
Yeah.
please join us then. If you enjoyed this, or maybe enjoyed's not the right word. If it's giving you therapy, please hit the like button. If you want to hear more, please hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. And
Come to therapy.
with that,
Yes.
indeed, please join us for more therapy on Monday. So, with that, wherever you are, whenever you may be listening, thanks for taking the time, and we will see you around Gator Nation.